好. Good morning, friends. Welcome back. 我叫 CJ, 欢迎回来, happy news, etc. Learning Mandarin. Hope you're having a great day. We're going to continue with a teacher talk. Thanks for being here.
Hi everyone, you are listening to Teacher Talk. 我是 Maggie.
And I'm Chris.
Hey, Chris.
In today's episode, we're going to talk about verbs, specifically how they never change in Chinese. It's quite nice.
All right, it's a good thing because you don't need to remember a lot of different forms of a verb. So in Chinese, no matter who does the action or when it happens, the verb stays exactly the same.
Yeah, so we're already pretty lucky in English that our verbs are pretty stable. But we do have a few changes that happen. Things like want to wants, or go to went, or, maybe putting an ing on the end of a word, wanting. So those are kind of the transformations that we have to deal with. Maybe for future we'll say will. But in Chinese, nothing happens to the verbs, no matter what.
Right. We are even luckier, right? Because the verbs don't change according to the person or time.
Yeah, so for example, in English, you might say, I want to go to the park, but then you'd say, she wants to go to the park.
Mm-hmm.
But in Chinese, both sentences use the same verb. So for the first one, I want to go to the park, it's 我想去公园. 我想去公园. And for she wants to go to the park, it's 她想去公园. 她想去公园.
Yeah, so even though there's different subjects here, 想, it stays the same.
Right, and the same goes for time. So if we say we are going to the park tomorrow, then it's still just 我们明天去公园. 我们明天去公园.
Yeah, so there's nothing like we will be going, right? You just use that same exact structure that I'm going, and then you just put a tomorrow in there. You just add a time word, but the verb itself stays exactly the same.
Yes. And in Chinese, verbs don't change even when they appear in different parts of the sentence.
And by different parts of the sentence, we mean whether they take their normal place as the main verb of the sentence, if they're, in a series of verbs, or if they even become the subject, what we'd call the gerund form of a verb.
Yeah, and in Chinese, the verbs stay in the same form. So take this for example. 我经常打车. 我经常打车. I often take a taxi. So in this sentence, 打车 is the main verb. And the same verb 打车 can be used as the subject, like 打车不贵. 打车不贵. Taking a taxi isn't expensive. And in this sentence, 打车 is the subject.
Yeah, so we do that a lot in English. Take a verb, put an ing on the end, and then it becomes a subject. But in Chinese, you can make that same maneuver, take the verb and make it the subject of the sentence without doing anything to the words.
Right, you can just put the verb in the different place of a sentence. It can be used as the object, even a modifier, or sometimes the subject, and the verb still keeping the same form.
It sounds like you can just do anything you want in Chinese.
Right, but the word's order matters a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like we're saying, yeah, you can put any word wherever you want. And then Chinese people are like, no, when you actually talk to them.
Right.
Yeah, I think the other thing that surprises English learners is that in Chinese, you can put like a series of verbs, like right in a row. Whereas in English, you would need, a preposition between two verbs, or putting an ing on the end of the second verb, but you can just verb, just right in a row in Chinese.
Yeah, so we can say 我想看电影. 我想看电影. I want to watch a movie, or 我喜欢看电影。我喜欢看电影。I like watching movies.
Yeah, so 想 and 看 are both verbs, and they appear right after each other. I mean, if you noticed in Maggie's translation, in one of them, she made the second verb the infinitive form by putting a to there. And then in the second translation, she put an ing on the end of the second verb. I want to watch and I like watching. Those are the two options we go with in English, but Chinese don't need to. Just verb.
Yeah, we can put 2 or sometimes 3 verbs in a row. So now that we know verbs don't change form, let's talk about the 3 main categories of verbs in Chinese, because you encounter those different names of verbs a lot in the following grammar explanations. So the first one, the basic one, they are action verbs. So the verbs describing physical actions like 吃, to eat, or 喝, to drink, and 看, to watch.
Yeah, these are easy enough to remember. They're physical things that you do.
Yeah, and then the second one is called psychological verbs. They are used to describe emotional or mental states.
Yeah, and so these verbs usually appear with other verbs. You know, we were just talking about having 2 in a row.
Yeah, like the verb 喜欢, to like. We just mentioned it a lot.
Yeah, like I like watching. So words like, love, hate, oftentimes it's going to be one of these psychological verbs followed by another verb. And then the third type would be existential or stative verbs, as in they're verbs that show you're in a state of being something.
Okay.
Right, so like 是, to be, or 有, to have, and 在. It's a verb in Chinese and it's to be located at or to be in, on, or at.
Yeah, and these don't describe emotions or actions, but they still function as verbs, and they're some of the most important ones in Chinese.
Right. They are highly frequently used in daily conversations. So to sum it up, Chinese verbs never change form. Never. So not for person, not for time, not for function.
Cool.
And
no
remember the 3 types of
guess.
verbs. We have action verbs, we have psychological verbs, and we have stative verbs like 是, 有, and 在.
Right. So in today's teacher talk, we just shared a lot of information on verbs.
And if you're feeling like, man, I wish verbs were more complicated in Chinese, maybe you can pick another language like Polish or Portuguese. Then you can really get into verb transformations.
But in Chinese, we are lucky enough to have those stable verbs. They never change.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to this teacher talk. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, friends. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye. Sure, they do not. Next episode.
Hello, everyone. I'm Yan.
And I'm Chris.
Welcome to our teacher talk. In this teacher talk, we're looking at a common pair of words you will hear everywhere in China, 有事 and 没事.
Yeah, I remember
They sound
this.
simple, but you'll hear them in so many different situations, and it can get a bit confusing.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you've ever wanted to know more about them, good news. We're going to break down a bunch of different uses. So, let's start with the basic meaning. At the entry level, 有事 means to have a matter or a thing to do. So it's something like, I have something to do, or I'm busy. And 没事 means I don't have a matter. I don't have a thing. I have nothing to do, or I'm free.
Yeah, for example, if I say 我今天有事, the literal meaning is I have a matter today, but you know that means I've got something to do today, or I'm busy today. And if I say 我明天没事, literally it means I don't have a matter tomorrow. And the real meaning, I have nothing to do tomorrow or I'm
没事。
free tomorrow. So in everyday conversation, when someone says 我 at a time 有事 or 我 at a time 没事, they're describing whether they're available
schedule.
at that specific time.
At this basic level, I think it's very important to know that if you're in northern China, people will often add the R sound at the end of this. So what you're mostly going to be hearing is 没事儿 or 有事儿. I mean, it's so frequent that it's almost impossible for me to not use the R.
Chris is old Beijing.
And when I go down to the south to places like where Yan is from, I'm like, I have this like double take when I hear people say stuff without the R. I'm just like, what did you say? And they go, oh, that's the real word.
Yeah, that is true. Because for me, I cannot say the very well.
You're young. There's still time. But getting back to the meaning of these words, there's another layer to this 有事 or 有事儿 or the 没事. And that's kind of describing whether someone is okay or if they're having, some kind of problem. Are you all right? That kind of meaning. If someone falls down, I always imagine my kid when I'm talking about this, going over to them and saying 有事吗 is basically like, are you okay? And then in response, they will say, oh, 我没事 我没事. And that means, oh, okay, I'm fine, don't worry.
有事吗？
Yeah, very lovely, but I'd
有事
say I
吗？
have to give you a small tips, like a
我没事。
small warning. So 你有事吗 or 有事儿吗 could sound a bit confrontational in certain situations. Like,
You
what's
good,
your
bro?
problem? Like, 你有事吗? Yeah, the tone really
有
matters.
事吗？
You could imagine that
like
you're
that.
you're at school and then you run into your your high school enemy and then they walk past you and then they purposely bump your
有事
shoulder.
吗？
Then at this momento, you could turn around, stare at them with your most annoyed face and say, 你有事吗? So basically that means what's wrong with you, huh?
Yeah, and I mean, based on the context, my daughter's not going to think I'm like insulting her after she's fallen down. But yeah, for sure, this can be confrontational. And there's one more meaning of a 没事 or 没事, which is to say like no worries or I guess you're welcome. So if someone thanks you, 谢谢 is the first word that we all learned when starting
谢谢
to study Chinese. If you say 没事, that's a great you're welcome. And if you're in Beijing, people are going to be like, okay, that's a nice Beijing way to say it. We like that. We like the R. You're one of us.
没事。
Yeah, so imagine if someone bumps into you and then they apologize, you can reply 没事. So like it's okay, you don't have to
有事吗？
worry about it.
有
And if
事
you want
吗？
to sound extra
没事，
reassuring
没事。
or you want to sound more friendly, especially when the other person feels guilty and embarrassed, you can repeat it twice like 没事,没事. It sounds warmer and it sounds cuter. It's like saying really, really is fine with a lot of E at the end. Fine.
Yeah, repeating things is always good. So I think those are the three major ways that it gets used. Talking about if you're free or not, then, are you okay? And then using it to mean you're welcome, no problem. So that's a quick wrap up of all of the different meanings of this very flexible word.
Yeah, hopefully you will have no problem after listening to our teacher talk. And we will see you next time. Bye bye.
没事，没事。
Bye bye.
Someone accidentally spills coffee on your shirt and apologizes. What would you say? 你讨厌你有事吗？没事，没事。 You got a problem, bro. Thank you. Make sure. I hope I spelled that wrong. Make sure. Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Yan.
And I'm Chris.
Hey, Chris.
In this unit, you've learned how to ask someone out. But what if they say yes? Or maybe you're just going out to eat with your friends and your coworkers. Either way, there's a big question waiting at the end of the meal.
Yeah, who's paying the bill? And in China, it's not just about the money. It's about the relationships you're building. What's the power relationship between you and the person you're going out to eat with? And sometimes the drama at the end of the meal.
Yeah, so let's take a look together at some unwritten rules behind paying the bill in China.
Okay.
The first one would be if you're inviting someone out, especially if that person doesn't want to go with you, offering to pay is a way to convince them to come. And there's a special phrase. If you are to say 我请你, then they know very clearly that you are going to be the one to pay the bill.
Yeah. 我请你.
It's like it's on me.
我请你. Yeah, and it basically means that I'll treat you, I'll pay the bill. Yeah. And sometimes if the inviter has a purpose, like if they want to have a serious talk, maybe they want to have a business meeting, or even with a romantic intention, like, you want to approach somebody, then those inviters will usually pick up the bills.
Yeah, and second would be elders or people with higher status. If you're going out to eat with someone and they're much older than you, they're probably going to pay. When I'd go out, get a coffee with a student, I would always pay for the coffee because I figured, I'm making a salary and they don't have any income.
Yeah, maybe the teachers and the boss paid out of habit or expectation. Maybe you don't really want to.
Yeah, but my teachers did this for me, so the least I could do to carry it forward.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, and the third situation is when you're going on a first date with someone. In more traditional settings, the guy often pays. Gender roles are changing, but it's still very common, especially in China.
Yeah, and the last one would be celebrations. And I think this is really different, at least with regards to birthdays. But, if it's a birthday or a job promotion, I know in weddings, probably across the whole world, it would be expected that the host covers. But I would say that oftentimes if you're saying, hey, let's all get together, something important happened for me, it's implied that you're going to be the one that pays.
Yes, and of course, not every meal is about social rules. Who's gonna pay? You're gonna pay. I'm gonna pay. A lot of people do prefer something more simple. Yeah, we could just split the bill. And in Chinese, we have a word for that. We call that AA 制, meaning AA system. And no one really knows what AA stands for.
Yeah, I mean, for one, everyone assumes it comes from, 国外, outside of China somewhere. And when I first got to China, people would go, oh, yeah, AA, that's English. That, you should know about that. And I said, I've never heard about this in my life. I think the best origin that you can find is that it comes from Hong Kong. And potentially it's inspired by Western culture where people do have a tendency to pay for themselves. Some say this stands for all apart versus all together. Mm-hmm. Some people claim it stands for algebraic average. I don't think so. Some people think it means account. There's no official explanation, but as best as we can tell, it comes from Hong Kong.
Yeah, it just went popular across mainland China. They just borrow the concept.
Yeah. And now it's pretty common for young people to do this. There's even on WeChat a function where someone can pay and then they make a bill that they can send to everyone who was at the dinner, and
like
it will
that.
show
That's great.
split how much each person has to pay, and you can just click and pay into that, I don't know, mini program. I don't exactly know what it is, but it's a feature of WeChat.
Maybe that's just a sign of how international we're getting these days. And just a quick tip for everyone. If you're on a first date and the girl insists on splitting the bill, she might be politely telling you that she's not that into you.
Ooh.
In many cases, it means that she doesn't want things to get too close between you guys. And then, yeah, she's not really thinking about a second date.
Well, yes, I have nothing to add to that one. I was married before I got to China, so don't have any experience there. The opposite, though, with instead of splitting, everyone is trying to pay, is something I have more experience with. Aside from these situations where you're supposed to treat, if it's not particularly clear and you're among a group of friends, oftentimes a number of people will try to pay at the same time. And sometimes it gets really crazy.
Yeah, when it's time to pay, you gotta fight. And it's not a real fight. It's, a fight to pay.
Yeah, and there's an unspoken rule that at the end of the meal, everyone jumps up and they stick out their phones and they go, oh, yeah, no, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And there's kind of everyone knows who's going to do it probably, but it just shows your good intention.
Interesting.
Yeah, you've got to at least, argue a little, block their arm like a kung fu master. Yeah, maybe even try to, hand your phone directly to the waiter. Like, no, I'll have it. No, I'll have it.
Yeah, and you don't want to look too eager to let them pay. I mean, I always seem to lose this one. I don't have any good tactics in the hand-to-hand combat of payment, but you kind of make some kind of effort and stick your phone out a little bit.
You have to at least pretend to try for 2 rounds. Maybe fake it till they pay it, Whoever lost gets a free meal and whoever won gets the glory and a dent in their bank account. If you're not good at public fights or if you don't like public bill battles, there's actually another move. You could just sneak to the counter and pay in secret. Nobody's gonna know. How would they know?
Yeah, this is a classic trick, and the only way I've ever succeeded at paying the bill is you pretend you're going to the bathroom and then, on your way, you just go and pay while everyone's still eating. And then when people finally start asking, oh, can we get the bill? And the waiter or waitress goes, oh, this guy already paid. And then you go, oh, yeah, haha.
Haha, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
That's
the whole
funny.
things, paying the bills, fighting to pay the bill feels like an after meal exercise.
Yeah. And, don't worry. It's, it kind of, what goes around comes around. And if you pay, people don't exactly keep track of it, but you'll be treated in the future and it all kind of comes out even in the end.
Yeah, what goes around comes around.
Yeah. So if you see a bunch of people arguing, getting really loud in a restaurant, everyone stands up. Don't worry. It's probably just a friendly fight over who gets to pay. They're not really fighting.
Yeah. So, paying the bill in China isn't just about money. We've talked about this. It's about relationship, respect, and just to make people feel that they're cared for. So next time when you're out with some Chinese friends, just get your wallet ready and try jumping in the bill fight. Even if you lose, they will love that you tried.
Yeah, go for it.
Good to know.
Yeah, so that's all for this Teacher Talk, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, nice. It's China. In China, it's normal for people to insist on paying when the meal is over. All right. Very interesting. That was a good, informative series of teacher talks to finish this off. And then tomorrow, we're going to apply it into real life scenarios. Before I sign off, though, I'm not sure if anyone's out there, but if anybody's checking this out on the VOD, I wanted to show you the flashcard app that I built. And if anybody wants to try or use this for themselves, you're welcome to. I can get you a totally free account. The way this works is every time I add a new word, so like for example, if the word is potion, I noticed that this application that we've been using um, has a variety of definitions. That the definition for the word isn't always going to be the same, right? So I created a library that allows us to select from multiple definitions and set one as a primary. So after you create the card, it's added, and you can flip your cards, you can flip all of your cards. And so this has just been effective, very effective for me, like number 8, right? And so like after okay, so I have 8, I know 8, and I'm going to put this in my deck, so now it's gone. So Joe is alcohol, or sorry, 9. That's 9, so we're going to leave that one. It's 12, right? So we can send this one away. Ban. We got lots and lots of our words. So if this is effective for you, I also built one of these for Espanol, if that's interesting to you. But yeah, so that's what I've been using on the side. I run that on the right side of my screen, and sometimes I will reference it when I don't know a word, or if I'm stuck. So I thought you might think that was cool. Anyhow, I will bid you adieu and farewell. Sai jian, au revoir, adios, arrivederci, sayonara, see you later. Until tomorrow, friends, find some time to smile, and we'll pick it back up. Cheers, friends. See you later.